Welcome to the next episode of KapVista Klips. Today we have the team from Awnestee Incorporated, David and Glen. How are you?
Outstanding. Thanks for having us today.
Excellent. Enjoy being here.
Awesome. I've been talking to you about Full Color Games, which is now Awnestee Incorporated for almost 12 months now. So I've seen the platform. I've seen the potential and what it is, but I'm interested to find out more and find out your story and find out your why. So thanks guys for jumping on. Let's get into it because I really want to know about you, about your background, and what you got to this, how you got to this point, because this is exciting. The gaming world and the casino games and online gaming is a very lucrative space. So touching on that is the potential for big things.
Well, thank you for having us. First off, my name is David Mahon. I am the founder and creator of a branded product called Full Color Games. And what Full Color Games is, in a real short nutshell, is it's the world's first and only new class of card and casino gaming. And it's a pretty big thing to say. I can narrow it down to make it really simple for you to kind of understand what that really means. If you look at all the products that are in the world, it's very rare that someone comes along and truly disrupts something on a foundational level that hits every man, woman, and child across the world. And to show you what that is, I accidentally, yet on purpose, invented an entirely new deck of playing cards. And they're called full color cards. And what they do is they unlock the mathematical speed limits of games, and they allow you to do things that cannot be done with a traditional deck of cards. And speaking of which, the crazy thing about a traditional deck of cards, you can go anywhere in the world. You can go to Asia, America, Africa, Antarctica. Doesn't matter where you are. Every single man, woman, and child plays with the exact same deck of cards. It was invented about 600 years ago, or it was really truly discovered about 600 years ago, and it's never changed since then. And so I think the reason why no one's been able to figure out how to invent a new universal deck of cards is because there are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there are atoms on Earth. As absurd as that is to say, it's just a 52 factorial. And so what happens is, in order to get the math to hold up, it takes like Rain Man level math to be able to make it work. And I accidentally, yet on purpose, figured out how to do it. And so this deck of full color cards, what you would see in the pitch deck and in our product, if you go to our website at fullcolorgames.com or go anywhere, you'll see we promote what appears to be the deck of cards of full color cards, and it creates an entirely new way to play every card and casino game that's ever been invented. But it goes beyond casino gaming. We also reinvented solitaire, which is the most popular game on the planet so far as how much time people waste playing it around the world. And so, but what it really is, it's a mathematical formula. And what's so unique and special about it is that I remove the aces and faces off of a deck of cards because they're not necessary. And what I did is I added a fifth suit. So what you have is that I changed the hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades to just colors because that's all you need. And then I made a 3-part card system, a 2-part card system. So now it's just suit and rank. And so what happens is I added a fifth suit. And that fifth suit is the white suit. So what you have is you have 4 colored suits. And here, I'll just show you. We have a deck of cards there. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there. They're full color cards. And they have 4 color suits and 1 white suit. And the trick to the whole platform and the mathematical formula is that color cards increase your score and white cards decrease it. So for example, if you're playing blackjack and your goal is to get 21, if you have a 16, I believe 49% chance your next card you're going to bust. And so in my game with the white cards, if you hit a white card, since there's only 1 out of every 5 cards is white, when you hit a white card, your score can go down. So imagine you hit the best card in the deck, a white 11, your score goes from a 16 down to a 5. And instead of busting, your game goes the other way, and you can actually score down to 0 and win that direction. So you can win in 2 different directions. And so it's best seen what this mathematical formula is. It's best seen in a deck of cards, but it also works in balls for like bingo, lotto. It works in dice for craps and sick bow. It works in wheels for roulette and all kinds of things. So in as fast as I can possibly tell you what Full Color Games is and what Awnestee's primary product is that it owns the rights to distribute these unique and proprietary games in every way, shape, and form, whether it's online gaming, whether it's land-based gaming, or whether it's retail, social, real money, virtual money. And it's an incredible opportunity for people that want to be involved in the next generation of gaming and entertainment.
Yeah, awesome. So what's your background getting up to this point?
Oh man, that'll take a couple books. I kind of, I started out as an architectural engineer, designing buildings, and built hundreds and hundreds of buildings around the world when I started when I was 17 years old. And then I ended up owning a graphics design company. I've owned manufacturing companies. I used to be a voting member of the Grammys for 20 years as a writer and producer of country music. My background is so unique and so diverse that there isn't any one thing. I've never been to school, I've never been to college, but yet I have like 250 math certifications, which is probably more than anybody on the planet that's alive. And it's not really about what my background is, but in the company of what I've created, I do everything. If you go to our website, I created the graphics, I did the math, I did the code programming, I did the design, I did everything. And so what's been so amazingly fortunate for me is that my background in my life has been so unique that it's allowed me to take these nuggets from every little career or thing that I've done in life, and I use those skill sets in what I've created with the company, whether it's construction. I mean, I'm sitting now here in our brand new live dealer studios in downtown, or in Las Vegas. We're right off the dead center of the Strip, and I could not have built this live dealer studio had I not known how to do architectural engineering, structural, mechanical, plumbing, fire sprinkler, HVAC, you name it. I did all the blueprints. I'm the general contractor here, and so on and so forth. But so long answer to your short question.
Yeah. So, but that's the brilliant thing about finding founders who have that, vast and they've got a lot of experience, and all of that accumulates into what they're doing now, and you can really see it coming through with the technology they're built and the company they're built. People with a lot of life experience in different fields make the best founders. So. It also makes the most resilient founders. And from an investor point of view, you want to back those people, because when, being a founder is not easy. So when times get tough, people with a lot of experience know how to dig through and get to the other side.
Well, I'm not only the CEO and the founder, I'm also the chief cook and bottle washer too. So, I know how to do everything from soup to nuts.
Perfect. So you've touched on what the game can do, but tell us about the industry and how can you take a slice of the pie and explode this thing into the stratosphere?
That's a really good question. When you look at what Awnestee is, we are the company is very unique. We have the corporate profile of Awnestee Incorporated, but our brand is Full Color Games. And so we see ourselves as a business as a service-based enterprise. And what we're doing is we'd like to think that we're disrupting one of the last untouched multi-trillion-dollar industries in the same way that other companies have disrupted theirs. For example, if you look at some of the most successful companies in the world, they're Amazon, they're eBay, PayPal, Netflix, YouTube, Airbnb, Uber, Twitter, Google, even the Apple App Store, all the way back, if you take it all the way back to like AOL, every single one of these companies, if you peel back the layers of the onion and you look at what are they and what do they really do, they are platforms. And they're platforms that create and control perpetual revenue streams with unique and proprietary intellectual property. And their product, what it did and what it, in my opinion, what made it explode was that they changed human behavior. And you can look at Airbnb, you know, they changed the behavior of how travelers traveled and how they connected to homeowners. You can look at Uber and how it's changed how riders connect with vehicle owners, be it a cab company or a private person who owns it. And what Awnestee is that we have the ability with my unique and proprietary stuff that once somebody starts to play a full color games product, be it solitaire, be it 21 or nothing, be it full color baccarat, they do not want to go back to the original. And so what happens is that's our change in our players' behavior, that our games are so fun, so fascinating, so engaging, so dynamic that people fall in love with that, with that. And so we believe that our product, when we execute it at its fullest optimum, can change the human behavior, and we can grow into a multi-billion-dollar platform that serves every man, woman, and child. Because the ultimate goal in the company is that every single child should grow up with a deck of full color cards. Because when you get into it, once again, when the investor groups or the individuals that are seeing this or want to know more, we're going to do a full-blown demo for you, and we'll show you how our target audience is actually 5-year-old children, because we want them to grow up with full color cards and learn logic, math, competition, deductive reasoning, things that are super important, that are building blocks to life. And then as they grow up and they play more of our games, if they want to graduate into the casino games, they're able to do that too. As well as, who is our target market today? It is definitely the adults as well. But we're not just a short-term company. We're a legacy-based company where we have got something that is, it's going to outlive me. I will not live long enough, in my opinion, to be able to design every single game and every single format and every single formula that my inventions will do. And so that's something else that's very exciting for an investor, not just putting money into something to get a quick return. We expect to have perpetual revenue forever. And that's, you know, one of our important things there.
Okay, amazing. So you do everything, you're the jack of all trades, but tell me about the team behind Awnestee and Full Color Games.
Well, the first part of the team is my partners, and my most important partner is Glen Howard, and Glen's on the call. He's the president of the company as well, and I was super blessed to have one of my very original investors introduce him to me. And Glen has a specialty in growth capital, and I'll let him talk about that. And so, Glen, you know, I can toot your horn for you, but you know, if you want to introduce yourself, this is a great time.
Yeah, well, I was excited to get introduced to the venture capital world back in the late 90s when the whole internet craze was coming online. And I was with a group called Disco Ventures at the time, and we put about $3.5 billion into the marketplace, backing all these venture-backed companies. And as a result of that, I literally met with every board member of these companies, which were all the top VC firms in Silicon Valley on Sand Hill Road. And I lived in the community. My kids grew up with these guys. I spent, you know, I still associate very much with the venture community, but I'm now on the operating side since I literally joined up with the Full Color team and trying to launch this product. But what dawned on me as I looked at it originally as an investor is, oh my God, the aha moment for me was, this is proprietary. These are proprietary games that only Full Color Games, or in this case, Awnestee, can distribute. And we're not competing with 1,000 other game makers of a blackjack game or baccarat or any other game. It is just the Full Color IP is so unique and different. It's more fair and more fun to play, that my aha moment is we can steal this market. I mean, it really is a disruptive gaming technology that can take hold of the market. And that's what got me connected with David very early on. I'm excited to say that we've made great progress over the years. We're so close to really pushing this out into the production now and growing the business. that it's a very exciting time for us. So
And one of
I'll
one of
leave
the
it at
things
that.
that was one of the things that was most important to me with Glen, when I asked Glen, why do you want to invest in the company, long before he became the president, and Glen started a multi-billion-dollar company called Hercules Technology Growth Capital. It's on the New York Stock Exchange to this day, leader in its field of what it does. He gave me one of the greatest compliments I could possibly get. He said, "David, I've seen a lot. Haven't seen it all, but he's seen a lot." And he said, "This is the biggest opportunity he's ever seen." And it was like the greatest compliment I could possibly get. And I asked him why. And he said, "Because you've invented Pepsi to the Coke. There is only one way to play blackjack. There's only one way to play solitaire. There's only one way to play baccarat, and you have the alternative to it." And then when he got into the IP, he discovered that a lot of people are in the venture world are hyper-focused on patents, and they are very sexy and cool. But the problem is patents only last 20 years. And the most valuable thing in the company is my copyrights. And the trademarks, obviously very valuable as well. But the copyrights, there's only been one deck of cards that's ever made it in the world beyond a traditional deck of cards, because traditional deck of cards are in public domain. And so anyone can use them, anyone can make games off of them or derivatives off of them. But the only other unique and proprietary deck of cards is Uno. And that was made by Merle Robbins, I believe, in 1971. And he just recently died. And there's only been one manufacturer of it ever. And when I met the former president of Mattel, of all people, he said, "Wow, what you've got here is magical. You've got a license to print money, because I know how much money we made at Mattel with Uno." And so the problem with Uno is it only does one thing, Uno. It doesn't have the paradigm and the mathematical formulas to be able to create a fair and balanced game that creates a thing of what you would call arbitrage, because that's how casino gaming works. The house always wins, and it must be that way for a statutory reason, which I could get into if you want to know. But the house must always win, but it has to be fair and balanced to the players, and it has to be reasonable, but it also has to have predictable unpredictability, unpredictable predictability, and all kinds of these magical things that make games extremely popular. And so what we have in Full Color Games product is the copyright. My cards are copyrighted. And so a copyright, the value of a copyright is that it lasts the life of the author plus 70 years. So, it should last for another 100 years before anyone can even legally make or attempt to make full color games and full color cards. So we have a lock on that. And the beautiful thing about copyrights is that virtually, I think, over 180 countries respect the Berne Treaty Agreement. It's not like the patents where you have to argue about whether it's right or whether it's wrong. It's indisputable. The copyright is the copyright. And so with that, we can control publishing. You can't even broadcast a video stream of my cards because you've violated my copyright. You cannot monetize my images without paying us a royalty, and so on and so forth. So these are things that Glen said, "David, I want to be involved in this," and it was just the greatest honor to have him come in and be my partner. So, once again, I apologize. Long answer to your short questions.
No, that's okay. So, what you've articulated is the opportunity is massive. You've got the ownership locked up for the next 100 years. You're creating a new, basically you're creating a new industry. Well, to an extent.
You're very, very close. It's an industry within the industry that already exists. And so we don't have to go train 600 million people that play blackjack. We don't have to teach you how to play.
No.
All we're going to do is show you a new and more fun and fascinating way to play it. And it's the same thing with solitaire. 3 billion people that play it annually. We don't have to teach you how to do it. We're just showing you a better, more fun, more exciting way. Yeah. And speaking of which, so solitaire, only 24% of all solitaire games are solvable.
Yeah.
100% of mine are solvable.
Yeah.
So what happens is players there's just, I mean, I could go on and on and on about what's so unique and dynamic about it. But, you know, in just following up with what you're saying, you know, if you were to encapsulate this in a cliche, for example, you can look at Google. It's the largest advertising network on earth, yet Google owns no ad agencies. You know, Facebook is the largest content company on earth, yet they own no content. Uber, the largest taxi cab company on earth, yet they own no taxis. Full Color Games as the product and Awnestee as the corporation is set out to be the largest casino gaming network and platform on earth. And yet we don't need to own any casinos. We own the game.
Yeah.
And so we own that IP, the rights to those revenue streams. And that's what's quintessential. And that's what creates that perpetual revenue for the investor. And that's why we believe it's an extraordinary opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where we get into the interesting part. Tell us about the raise. How much are you raising? What's the momentum of it, and what's the offer?
Well, I'm gonna give a little sneak preview to that, and then I'm gonna let Glenn answer that question. My unique relationship with Glenn is that he deals with all the money, and I deal with all the products. So we have two great sandboxes that we are in, yet we're in the same playground together, and we complement each other very well. So like I said, I'm very, very blessed. And so what we have is that we've needed to narrow down our focus. Our opportunity, like I said, goes on and on and on. Online casinos, land-based casinos, retail products, affiliate marketing, mobile and desktop apps, social media, live events. It goes on and on and on. But in order to just focus and narrow on one thing, we are focused on our online gaming and all the products that deliver that. And so the online gaming market is global. And the most important thing is something else we have. It's not directly inside of Awnestee Incorporated. It is a related company. And the reason for that, and a little bit of background for you as well, is that we have casino gaming licenses. And so even though there's two markets in the world, you have the regulated market and then you have the non-regulated market. The non-regulated market is by far nearly 2 to 1, the largest market that's out there, but the regulated market gives you the credibility. So the credibility is the single most important thing. Glenn and I have a Malta gaming license. Malta is considered to be arguably the most respected and biggest online gaming regulated jurisdiction in the world. And so we have a license there. And if you own more than 1%, for example, in Pennsylvania, in the United States, you as an investor would have to actually be found suitable. So through this process of growing the company and getting everything in place, we've learned how to set up the infrastructure of the corporation so it doesn't inhibit investments, so it doesn't inhibit the execution, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to let Glenn answer, you know, what is our raise and what it's about and how we're narrowing it, and then how we can grow from there.
Yeah, so this particular raise, it's a pre-launch, pre-revenue raise. We are looking to raise $3 million. It's in the form of a preferred seed equity round, and we will get this round going, and it will propel us into our product launch and beyond. And sometime after product launch, we'll look into doing a much larger Series A at a much higher valuation, which will be justified by the amount of revenue growth we're going to see. We anticipate fairly quick revenue growth out of the gate and just growing exponentially over time. So it's very exciting when you get into our financial projections and just realize at the end of the day is how many people can we attract to play this game every day? And we believe we can grow that fairly significantly in a robust fashion. So very exciting. This particular raise is valued at a 34, yeah, I think it's 35 million, just under 35 million valuation. And there's a ton of value. I believe the valuation is much higher at this point, but you know, since we're still pre-launch, we need to kind of hold it down for the time being, and then let the revenue launch speak for itself as we get into this thing. So
Okay.
We do not want to dilute our existing investors. We're very, very cost conscientious. We're very conservative with our money. It's what's allowed us to develop this for years. It's taken years for me to get this developed, to get the casino gaming licenses, to get the independent math certifications, to prove that the product will work. And so on and so forth. And then what's fascinating about the casino gaming industry that is just so unique versus all the other industries that are out there is that this is designed to have a parabolic growth. Yeah. And the company should be funding itself faster than the ordinary company, simply because it's a cash-based business. And it's not like a consumable good where you can only sell 12 tubes of Colgate toothpaste a year. Here, there are high rollers that gamble $250,000 a spin on a roulette wheel, $100,000 a hand in a baccarat hand, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be fascinating. We have so much demand for the product that I've literally, I can't show the product anymore. We have focused on building the remote gaming servers and getting that certified. It's now certified. And now we need to make sure that we have the funds to support the launch, because we have so much business, I can't even get to it all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that, because it's a very exciting. We could talk about this all day, but from an, from an investor's point of view, this is an exciting opportunity with, massive potential, and you touched on something there, and this opportunity is much bigger than that. But what if you could invest into Uno before Mattel started distributing it? Like, that would be a massive opportunity. This, I think, is much have and has that white label opportunity. You can sell it to casinos across the globe. But for any investors who have seen this video, who want to know more, I'll put the details about the raise below, and then I can connect you directly with the team. Glen is handling the raise from the company side, so happy to connect you with Glen. And if you want to have a sneak peek into the game, I'm sure the guys will show you videos and how it works and everything else like that. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for jumping on. This has been incredible to talk about. I'm excited. I like to play games myself, so when it's ready, I want to jump on and try hand at it. But thanks, guys, and hope to connect you with people across the globe very soon.
You're amazing. Thank you for your time, and thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.